Hello again, fellow BeachBum traders. Thank you for joining us for part 2 of our weekly trading game plan for the trading week of May 8th through May 12th, where we'll be selecting our top swing trading stocks to watch. We'll talk about the individual stocks, ETFs, etc. that we're putting in our top swing trading stocks to watch list, our bullpen, talk about a shopping list. We'll look at ETFs in various categories for the indices, etc. And we'll also talk about our strategy relative to dividend payers and also our option strategy with covered calls and puts. So we've got a lot to cover. So stick around and we'll talk about all of those trading strategies, our top swing trading stocks to watch, and our strategies for making money trading for the trading week of May 8th through May 12th. So let's get started. Welcome, Tony Roses. Thank you for joining us. Glad to see you. Hope you're doing well. So here's our notes. Welcome to Ricky Khan. Good morning. Thank you for joining us as well. So here's our Google document with our notes for part 2 of our weekly trading game plan for this week. We put our notes in a publicly accessible Google document. You can find a link to this document in the description box below. Our notes contain links to bonus videos, all the tools that we use, etc., additional resources, and we store our notes documents in a publicly accessible Google Drive folder, and you can also find a link to that Google Drive folder in the description box below, so you can refer back to these notes as well as notes from our previous weekly trading game plans. Welcome, Chris Freeman, 38, Nagam. Glad to see you all today. Hope you're all doing well. So if you haven't already seen part 1 of our weekly trading game plan for this week, titled Make Money Trading in May, we would highly recommend you also view part 1, as that contains our market analysis for this week, trading strategies, etc., that give us the input data for selecting our top swing trading stocks to watch for this week. So again, we'd highly recommend you also view part 1 if you have not already seen this. So first, we'll talk about some of our trades for the past week, and then we'll look at the charts. Then we'll dive into our watch list for next week. The first one is DNN. DNN is a small uranium stock. You know, we've been watching DNN for some period of time. It finally looked like it was going to make a move up as we saw the sector rotation back into uranium, which is what we've kind of been waiting for. This is one of the ones that we're playing for that sector rotation in and out of uranium. We're also currently long UROY, which again is one of the uranium stocks that we're using to play this rotation. So we went long DNN on the 3rd at 103 for a scalp trade, swing trade in that sector rotation in uranium. I was watching, and we'll see in the charts, I was watching DNN. It looked like they were building up some orders above $1. I would have liked it cheaper, but it looked like there was substantial support just above $1. There was some resistance at 104. I let those orders dig into that resistance, deplete that resistance, and then it looked like it was going to make a move up. And so hopefully we'll get that move up in DNN soon. We got stopped out of our position. We were long METC. This is the stock that we're using to play the sector rotation in coal. It's a coking coal play. We had previously entered on the 27th at 8. We got stopped out pretty much break even at 8:01. And then we'll see subsequently they had earnings. They had positive earnings. They announced that they found magnetic material in some of their mining output, and it had a real positive response, and you'll see we're taking it off the watch list. I was hoping it would pull back and we'd get another chance to enter, but again, it's run away, and we'll see that in the chart as well. Welcome, John, Flip of the Shippa. Thank you for joining us. So we'll jump over and we'll look at those two trades. Again, first is DNN. We can see, this heavy support above 1. I didn't take it at the previous bounce off of 1. Again, it ran up, pulled back. Again, you saw some wicks down to 101, but it would pull up pretty quickly, and we can see, since then it's now run up to 106. So it's got good potential upside. into the 140s, 150s. So hopefully this will be a reversal and a nice swing back up to the 150 level in DNN. I'll zoom out a little bit on METC. You see, we got in on the 27th. About 8, it ran up a little bit, rolled over, broke back down. So we stopped out of there. It proceeded to descend to 740 right before earnings. And then again, they had positive earnings. They beat on earnings and announced that they found magnetic material, and it just, it rocketed. I wasn't going to chase it at this point, and you can see at this point, I'm not going to chase it going forward. So we're going to be taking it off of our watch list. It really bounced very quickly on that earnings announcement. So congratulations to anyone who stayed into METC and caught that run up. It looks like you'll make a nice profit if you happen to get into METC and hold it through that descent and earnings call. Chris Freeman's asking about KVUE. I'm not familiar with that. Let me put that down in our questions so that I remember to take a look at that when we get to that point. Again, it's not one I'm familiar with, but we'll try to take a look at that for you, Chris, when we get to the Q&A portion. Okay? I'll get your full tag in there later on as well. Good morning, Walter. Thank you for joining us. Glad to see you as well. So now we'll talk about our, just a quick reminder that if you'd like to get real-time alerts when we enter or exit a trade, any level of our Patreon, we post to our Patreon members. You'll get an email notification when we enter or exit a trade. Also, sometimes if we make updates to our watch list, and again, any level of our Patreon will give you that information. We also post them into alerts categories or alerts channels in our Patreon or in our Discord, which our Patreon members have access to. And I'll quickly show you those. We have a Thinkorswim TOS price alert channel. Where I set price alerts in Thinkorswim. When those get triggered, it automatically posts to the Thinkorswim channel. And then if we follow that up with a trade, as you can see, when we entered METC, when we entered DNN, then I would follow that up either in the Thinkorswim alert channel and or in the trade alerts channel. So again, I don't recommend anyone blindly follow us or anyone else into trades, but if you would find it helpful to your trading development, your success in your trading career, to see what we're entering and when we're entering trades, you can get that information via any level of our Patreon. So now let me grab a quick drink and we'll look at our watch list, our top swing trading stocks to watch for this week. Good morning, Easy Mike. Thank you for joining us. Glad to see you as well. Hope you're doing well. So here I'll go through our changes to our watch list, and then we'll jump over to Webull and look at the chart. So as we mentioned, we're already long DNN, so we're taking that off of our watch list. Hopefully it will continue to swing up. Yesterday we talked about oil and that dip of oil below 65. So there's a couple stocks that I want to put on the watch list to potentially take advantage if we happen to get that a rapid decline in oil again, down under 65, under 70. So you can see that's what I'm watching for in both of these cases, is for a dip and support in WTI, which is the futures contract is CL. So if we see CL dip below 70, the previous low or the recent low was 64.36. So if we see a dip on those, I've got two plays that I'd like to look at. One is Gush. Gush is the leveraged long on oil. We currently have a longer term position in DRIP, which is the leverage short on oil. So that obviously would appreciate. We've been selling covered calls on DRIP. This would be a scalp, short-term scalp type play. If we get that short DRIP, we'll look at going long on Gush to play that reversal off of that bottom. We saw that wick was very short in oil, and then it bounced back up into, I think it's sitting around 71 now again. So that would be a very short-term scalp play using Gush. The other play on oil, we like USOI, which is a monthly dividend payer, pays a very high dividend, almost $2, $1.95. Their next ex-dividend date's on the 19th. It is not optionable, but same thing. If we get that dip in oil down below 70, below 65, I'd want to get a sizable position in USOI prior to that ex-dividend date, and then ideally hold that through the ex-dividend date, collect that nice $1.95 per share dividend, and then, if oil declines, then we may exit that. So again, those are the two plays. If we see a quick dip in oil, I'm going to be looking at Gush for a quick scalp and USOI for a monthly dividend play. Easy Mike yesterday mentioned potash. We've been watching IPI as our preferred potash play. You can see that in this bonus link to a short video that we talk about potash stocks to watch, and IPI is the one we've been watching. I thought I might be able to get into it. We'll see it in the chart. They missed on earnings and it dropped off pretty quickly. I was watching for a quick bounce. It kind of decayed, trailed off the end of the week, so I didn't see heavy support. So I'm still watching for that support level in IPI, and then we look. I like that going long. There's a number of macro events that I think support along in potash. Obviously, you're getting into growing season. They do potash and agricultural input. It's fertilizer input, etc. They do have some other divisions in their business as well. With the natural gas prices dropping, we're going into growing season. It's spring. I think that bodes well for the potash, the fertilizer business. We also have these potential increasing tensions with Ukraine, Russia. There was some news. It's also spring. There was talk of a spring offensive. If we see a cutoff in some of the agricultural commodities coming out of Ukraine, wheat, corn, etc., particularly wheat. There was also an issue with their Black Sea Treaty, with the wheat coming out of Ukraine. I guess the Ukraine representative punched the Russian representative. And I think those increased tensions might increase both the agricultural products, wheat, etc. And you'll see we're also watching wheat as well as the potential fertilizer. That was an issue with Ukraine before, is with the high cost of natural gas, the reduction in fertilizer. So again, that's some of the thesis behind why we're watching IPI, and I'll show you in the charts. As soon as it finds support, could be as early as tomorrow, we're going to look to go long IPI. And we saw MET-C ran up, so we're taking that off the watch list. Easy Mike says, funny, potash move opposite of NG. Talking about DBA, I will see DBA in our ETF spreadsheet as well. We're also adding MP materials. We're putting it in the game, moving it up from our bullpen. We've had MP in the bullpen for several weeks. We put it in the game, moved it up from the bullpen on the 5th. And I'll show you in a minute. Also, we have a channel in our Discord for intra-week updates to our watch list, so you can get that information. You can hear our previous due diligence video on MP Materials, why we like MP Materials, via this link in our notes, also on our BeachBum Trading YouTube channel. They had good earnings, and so, but it's still pretty much declining. So we're again looking for a support level to enter MP Materials. It looks like it's at a pretty good price, and it's still been declining. Again, it suffers from rotations out of basic materials. So again, you can hear other reasons we like MP Materials. Again, it's a rare earth, a U.S.-based rare earth company that has government defense contracts because it's a strategically important set of rare earth materials, as well as the risk of a lot of electronics use rare earth materials, iPhones or cell phone or mobile phones, etc. And this would be a U.S. supplier of that. OPP is a fixed income bond fund we've been watching for a while. It's a little bit high, pays a nice monthly dividend, a little over 10 cents. It'll probably go ex-dividend again in 513-ish, mid-May again. Again, nice way to generate a monthly income. So one of the dividend payers we like. Talked about USOI, and again, I talked about the thesis behind wheat. We've been watching the wheat ETF. WEAT is the ETF on wheat, and as you'll see, it looks like it presents a pretty good risk reward. And as we'll see, I kind of like the risk reward on wheat a little better than the risk reward profile of DBA right now. So again, if you'd like to, well, a couple things. Our Patreon members have access to an automatically generated web page, gets updated automatically daily with price targets, our buy-sell price targets, dividend information, dividend yields, ex-dividend dates, optionality, etc. So if you'd like access to that daily generated watch list, and also intra-week, if I make any changes like before market open, to our watch list, I post those in the stock watch list update channel in our Discord. And again, any level of our Patreon will give you access to those automatically generated watch list web page, as well as the updates channel in our Discord. So I'll throw the link up to our link to our Patreon up in the banner, and you can also find that in the description box below. So now we'll jump over to Webull and look at the charts for our watch list. Again, this is the online browser version of Webull. Again, they're still offering 12 free stocks, as you saw in part 1. Many of our other videos, Webull's our preferred trading platform. We use it for market analysis, due diligence, and also the majority of our trading. And again, they're, in addition to 12 free stocks, they're offering a 5.8% APR interest rate on your idle cash in their cash management. So again, if you're not already using Webull, you can get 12 free stocks and a 5.8% on your idle cash, and that 5.8 is for new members. So first we'll look at Gush. Again, we saw that decline, quick bounce. I've got the 9760 level. Again, Gush is a leveraged ETF, so it will naturally decay over time. So again, the trigger point for entering into those oil trades is to watch the actual WTI price, or the CL is the future price. And if we see that dip of 65 or below, that would be the previous low point, and that would be then when I want to look at where Gush is and go long in Gush. Same thing for USOI. So again, it'll have the same basic signature. So again, if we see WTI crude drop below 70 to below 65, even below 70, I'd be looking to try to get into USOI ahead of its ex-dividend date. You can see it pays, nice dividends. Here's IPI, the potash. So you see when they missed on earnings, it just plummeted. It's just been trailing off. Again, I was watching it on Friday to see if it was going to show any level of support. It's still trailing off, so I'm just going to be watching it, see where it establishes support. Where do the buyers come in, and then that would be our entry point. We see it, offers a pretty nice long-term upside. We could, up to the 56, so better than a double, even short term, into the 30s, so 50% upside. So yeah, I really like that. It's just a matter of finding the right entry point. MP. So this is MP Materials. It looks like it's, got a pretty good support level. If that 2021, if this S1 support level is going to hold, and it, breaks VWAP and heads up, that looks pretty good. Now that's why we put it in the game from the bullpen. Looks like it's finally found a support level. So again, we'll be looking to go long MP Materials. Again, pretty nice upside into the 30s. So, again, more than a 50% upside shorter term, and then longer term, it's been as high as 60. Again, this was a little bit of the hype previously, but again, you see if it's established support and swings back up, we like MP Materials. OPP, again, this is that bond fund. It's kind of run up a little bit. I'd like a pullback. Ideally, I'd like it around 8. It's a little bit high right now. Pays a nice monthly dividend. You can see it's 10 cents a month per share. So it's just a matter of finding the right timing to get into OPP. Talked about USOI. We talked about wheat. You see it made a quick bounce. We saw that in the futures. So I'm just looking for a pullback, a little bit better price. I wasn't going to chase this run up. Again, we saw that in the futures. Wheat it bottomed and bounced pretty quickly. So we'll see if we get a roll. And part of that, I think, was the Ukraine news as well. Triggered that bounce. Now let me grab a quick drink and we'll talk about our bullpens and additional strategies. Thank you for sharing that, Walter. Stock charts, free charts, cool page for seasonality. If you would too, I'd recommend you post that in our Discord too as a potential tool, resource, etc. If I don't already have that, I'll take a look at it. Maybe we'll even add it to our links on our homepage. So. Okay, so let's talk about our bullpen stocks. For anybody who's new to our channel, concept of the bullpen stocks are stocks that we're not watching real time in our main watch list. Again, I have automation that runs on our main watch list that do not run against the bullpen stocks. I revisit the bullpen stocks at the end of each day, see if their setup has improved, like we saw in MP Materials. Had it in the bullpen. We've been watching it. Now that it looks like it's achieved support, we put it in the game, moved it up to our main watch list. So again, at the end of the day, I revisit these and see if their technical setup has improved. If so, we put them in the game, move them up to our main watch list. If they run away or break down, then we just take them out of the bullpen. So again, it's just a end of day exercise. So again, we're taking MP, we put it in the game, moved it up. We're going to take PDI, which is one of the dividend payers we had in our bullpen. It's already run up, so we're going to take that one out for now. Again, we can watch that via our dividend payers spreadsheet. One of the ones we're adding back to our bullpen right now is SATS, EchoStar Corporation. We've had EchoStar SATS in our watch list in the past. I think we've probably swung it for profit in the past. You can see our due diligence, our previous due diligence video on EchoStar. We have the link in the notes, also again on our YouTube BeachBum Trading YouTube channel. Again, they're a satellite provider. They also have some broadband networking, Hughes Network, etc. And it looks like it's coming down, as we'll see, and may offer an attractive risk reward. We were watching also for uranium UUUU. It's already run up with that sector rotation into uranium. So, we've got DNN, we've got UROI, and UUUU is already run up. So we'll let that one go for now. We can always revisit if it happens if we get a rotation out of uranium, we might take a new look at UUUU again. So again, another nice thing about Webull is you can have any number of watch lists. So we just have our bullpen. Right now, the only remaining stock in our bullpen is SATS. We'll see if that support level is holding. It looks pretty good. If we zoom out a little bit. So again, we see the previous low is about 1526. It's sitting just above that right now. That looks, we'll see if that a little bit higher support holds. If so, we might go in at a little bit higher price. We'd see recent highs, in the 21s. So, 30% upside, and then longer term, it's again about 30. So it looks like, the near term upside, almost a double, would be pretty good. And again, you can hear our due diligence, what's the thesis on SATS? They are profitable. It's a satellite company. They also have broadband, etc. And it's just been, recently beaten down. So we'll see if, again, this support level around 1570 is going to hold, or if it's going to go down to that 1526. Okay, so now we'll talk about our ETFs. We'll talk about dividend payers, our other option strategies, etc. So I've got several videos. The gold and silver has been released. The real estate and financial, here's bonus links in the notes. You can also view those. So we've talked about all those ETFs and which ones we prefer in those categories. If anyone in the chat has a particular category, I know we talked about agricultural and DBA, but if you have another category you'd like us to look at, I'll bring up the spreadsheet. We can talk about it. Again, just a reminder, our all access to VIP Patreons have access to this ETF Google Sheet 24/7. As you'll see, the price updates automatically via Google Finance functions, and then we update the support and resistance levels, etc., via an automated system from our database at the end of each day. So again, then we can see the risk reward profiles, get highlights if they meet our risk reward profile criteria. It makes it quick and easy to identify opportunities with these ETFs. So I'll zoom in a little bit. Should still be legible. You see we have all kinds of categories in the past, and we have a video out about the various AI-related ETFs you can play. You see cannabis has been trailing off. We talked about China, yin and yang. I think Easy Mike yesterday you were asking about, or the other day you were asking about yang. I still think the long-term trend in China is up with the recovery, etc. But again, day trade, short-term trade, that's a daily thing. Which direction they're going? It's either up or down. You can play yen long. We're long yen still, again, for that long-term trend. But short-term, you can play yang. You can see what the risk reward is. And, it's bottomed around 7. It's sitting at 10 right now. Again, if you get a short-term day momentum trade, there's also C-Web, K-Web. You can compare the risk rewards of that to Yang short term right now. C-Web's actually showing a little bit better risk reward right now. Talked about MET-C. We've also got other types of coal, BTU, NC. None of them are showing terribly attractive right now. Been watching corn as well to see if that will, but the risk reward, it needs to come down to achieve our ratio of 2 or better. Talked yesterday about looking for that resistance point on Fang Yu, which is about, it's significantly higher, to possibly enter a short on the Fangs with Fang D, but I want to see it top out and roll over with Fang Yu to trigger an entry in Fang D. JNUG is a junior miner. Again, gold's very high. The miners have been lagging a bit. You might like that opportunity. Again, we have these leveraged on all the various indices. You can see SQQQ. Again, I'd look for a top in TQQQ. We've been talking about natural gas. We're currently long boil, which is the long, cold is the short. I may, if natural gas dips back down 2 or below, the bottom about 175. Again, I would use the actual price of natural gas or the future NG to trigger looking at an additional scalping position in boil. But again, you could day trade this. It's often a 5 to 10% swing on any given day. So if you're a short-term day trader and you're very daring and nimble, cold and boil. And again, we talked about gush and drip. So you can see, gush is a little bit above its support, above its 52-week. If we get that dip back down in oil, we want to go along gush. You can also go long oil using UCO and short oil using SCO. So again, we can see the risk reward profiles relative between gush and UCO. Again, all the indices. Look at wheat, and then I'll flip back to DBA. See utilities. I've been looking at that, but it's still above support. We've been talking about volatility. We're currently still long UVXY. Just, it spiked the VIX spiked to about 22 and then very quickly retraced. So we'll see if we get a pop over the weekends. Typically over the weekends, we get a pop on Monday, especially if we get another bank, going under over the weekend. We might get a pop in the VIX. Might want to exit UVXY at that point, but we've also got CPI and PPI data this week, and again, those might be volatility events that might give us a pop in the VIX. So let me also look for DBA. So again, you can also easily search this spreadsheet to find any ETF, category, topic, etc. that you're interested in. So DBA is a conglomerate. It also covers, you can see, feeder cattle, and I think lean hogs as well. So it's not a pure agricultural play. And again, you see right now it's at 21. It's got low about 19. Doesn't really have the 2-to-1 risk reward profile that I'd like. So if anybody else, palladium, yeah, FO. Okay, FO's water, palladium. Yeah, there's another stock that's a water utility I've been looking at. It just hasn't presented the type of setup that I'd like right now. We see FO is kind of high right now. So 53, I'd like it down 43 or lower. The other one you mentioned was palladium. I know it's run up, platinum, palladium. We were watching PAL. And again, it's run up quite a bit. Platinum's up as well. Here's IPI again. You can see our support and resistance, and doesn't have a ton of risk reward, but a nice swing. Okay, URL Europe. So here's the URL. Again, it's pretty high, close to its high right now. I don't have a short on Europe. In the past, we watched the euro. Again, it's a little bit higher. Again, the dollar's weakening. Is down around 101 or so. Got another ultra short euro. So I hope that all helps. Again, if you have any questions about any of these, you can put it in the comments in our Discord, contact us via social media, etc. And again, our all access and VIP Patreons have access to this all the time. And again, these prices, low, high, etc., will update via the Google finance functions. It's not quite real time. It's got about a 20-minute lag. But again, it'll give you, near real-time updates. You can find, and the risk rewards will calculate accordingly. So during the day, if we're seeing these sector rotations, you can jump over to this ETF spreadsheet and quickly find a set of ETFs to play a number of categories, either long or short. So that's what I do with it, and I hope that helps all of our fellow BeachBum traders as well. We have, series of videos on how to use this ETF spreadsheet. We also showed yesterday in the screeners tab, we have a number of screeners you can use, one of which shows the components of the technology sector. We also have pre-market, aftermarket, and I have a number of videos that show how I use these screeners in trading. Okay, so we'll talk about our shopping list. Let me grab a quick drink, check the chat again. Thank you, Easy Mike. Thank you for the positive feedback. So, and I won't, again, thank you for the positive feedback, Easy Mike, and I won't babble about this too much, but it's one of the things, I understand if you're a newer trader, how do you know these things? How do you know what ETFs to play for a various category? Or how do you know what stocks? Or, I'm trying to do what we can to help particularly new traders get up to speed, get over the learning curve faster, because I recognize more experienced traders, we throw these things around and you just kind of know from experience what to look at. Or again, that's why I write everything down in spreadsheets, etc. Is I forget, okay, what do I want to play? If it's oil up, what do I want to play? What's got the best risk reward? So again, if there's other ways that we can help you get over the learning curve, get up to speed, know how to play these various commodities, etc., let us know how we can do that. Yeah, we're going to talk about I mentioned yesterday, we'll talk more in the upcoming weeks about the effect of the debt ceiling on various categories. So I've had some experience with this before. So we'll talk about our shopping list. Again, the concept, if you're new to our channel, of the shopping list is we always recommend you have a list of stocks that you always wanted to buy, and you're just waiting for an opportunity, be it a irrational reaction to earnings or, irrational market decline that gives you the opportunity to buy those stocks you always wanted to buy. We just recommend that you filter your shopping list, given these caveats, as the fallout from the banks is. I wouldn't touch anything related to the banks right now. We don't know who's going to fall next. I predicted yesterday PAC-W is probably going to be next to fall, but after that we don't know. WAL denied that they were looking at strategic alternatives, but we'll see what comes out of that. We've talked about zombie companies with rising interest rates, credit crunch, etc., inaccessibility of cash. Again, I didn't throw unprofitable companies in there, but I should, because again, with the credit crunch, etc., drying up credit, companies that are not making money are not going to be able to get credit. They're not going to be able to raise money other than offering, through offerings. So they're going to dilute. They're going to have to do more offerings to raise capital when they run out of cash. So again, I have a video about unprofitable stocks, and I would recommend that. And part of that is, recession proofing. You can hear, what categories are going to do better or worse in a recession. So let's talk about additional trade ideas for this week. Dividend payers. Again, as we talked yesterday, we see the market's still pretty much range bound, pretty flat, just kind of oscillating. And in the meantime, until we're looking for better, longer term swing trade opportunities, a couple ways that you can make money, generate income. Make money while we wait, one of which is dividend payers. So we've been piling into dividend payers. And again, make money while you wait. So we'll look very quickly through the dividend payers. I built this Google sheet, this spreadsheet, to very quickly identify, whatever your strategy is for dividend payers, be it the high dividend or high potential yield, which is a combination of dividend plus price appreciation, etc. You can find whatever and schedule. You do want monthly, quarterly. Do you want to set up something where you get dividends every week from different stocks? This dividend payers Google sheet can help you do that. And again, our all access and VIP Patreons have access to this all the time. So again, it can help you identify dividend payers and set up a schedule so that you're generating the type of income that you like from dividend payers while we wait for better swing trading opportunities. So I'll just very quickly spin through them. And again, the ones that are highlighted in green, I want to talk about an enhancement that I made this week. Is I added an industry column in column W. One of the challenges that I found when I was reviewing this was remembering what that particular stock ticker symbol was, because there's certain ones, obviously the banks, I want to avoid. So I added in column W. It will now automatically update with the industry and the sub-industry from our database. So it gets updated every day. Obviously that doesn't change, but if we add anything, then it will fill in with the industry and sub-industry, so we can quickly determine, is this dividend payer in an industry or sub-industry that you either want to buy or you want to avoid. So I'll show you that very quickly as well. So again, now in column W, we can see, that's Alcoa aluminum. I happen to know that one. With the ETFs, part of the reason I added the sub-industry is the industry for these guys is just ETF. And so I can say, okay, that's a ETF on energy. So is that something that I want to consider? Or like REITs. This is a mortgage-backed REIT. I don't like mortgage-backed REITs, so I'm going to avoid that one. So again, I hope that helps and adds additional value to this dividend payer spreadsheet. So again, you can very quickly spin through, see, which ones look attractive, and then again, what category are they in? Okay, there's a China. I don't want a dividend payer in China. So there's CVS. We know what that is. Here's another one. What is that? It's convertible securities. Dust is gold. I've been looking at this DX, but see, that's part of the reason I added that, is that's a mortgage-backed REIT. Okay, it looks attractive, but that's not a category I want to hold for a dividend payer. There's a regional bank. We don't want that. We hold a big block of GLDI. That's on gold. That's a shipper. It's not Google. Here's some on the Russell. Here's the junk one we looked at a couple weeks ago. That's on the NASDAQ. You see it's not in our database. Pink means it's not in our database, so I manually have to update support resistance. But the rest of the pricing will get automatically updated. Again, it doesn't really have the kind of risk-reward profile that I'd like. We're still long land. LTC is kind of interesting. That's a hospital, healthcare facility. We've swung that, held that before in the past. But the risk-reward it's not quite where I'd like it. I'd like it down, around 30, ideally. But I have been watching that one. I don't like 3M. They got legal issues. Not real hip on Newell Brands. This is another one on oil, but it doesn't pay very much. Talked about PDI, so it's not showing green anymore because it's run up. I know Easy Mike and some other people like JEPI and JEPI, JEPQ. You see, they're a little bit higher than where I'd like them, but you can see they pay a nice dividend. Also, I think Easy Mike's been talking about UAN, pays a big dividend. It's like $10. Here's UAN. Again, the price is kind of high, but again, they're coming out. Ex-dividend date, if you want that, is May 22nd. MPW, we still have MPW. MPW is another healthcare facilities REIT, and yeah, we have a long position MPW, so you can see that one as well. Again, real estate slowly been recovering. Again, they're lumping a lot of real estate, a lot of the REITs in with the office REITs and the mortgage-backed REITs. So, they'll push the whole sector down. As they distinguish these more, I think we'll see some divergence between the various types of REITs, the various types of real estates, and I think we'll get a positive return out of these other types of REITs. So if anybody, again, has any others you want to look at in the dividend payers, you can throw them up in the chat. This guy's on volatility. It's kind of interesting. I've been also watching TLTW. This is an interesting one on the Treasury bonds on TLT. Again, it's a little bit above where I'd kind of like it, but again, it pays a decent return. It's got an adjusted yield of 37, so again, it's got a yield of almost 19%. So I'm closely watching that one. That would be a nice dividend payer to add on bonds. So again, you can diversify, your dividend payers across, stocks, bonds, different sectors, etc. So again, I'll let you all peruse this spreadsheet again more at your leisure. And again, we've released a whole series of videos on how to use this dividend payer spreadsheet, how it's evolved, etc. I might snip out the bit with the industry and has another video in that series, so you can see all of those in our channel. We also have a channel in our Discord that's free. It's in the investing channel, and we've got an automatic feed, so as people announce dividend hikes, it will automatically get posted in the investing channel in our Discord. Again, our Discord's free to join. There's just a few channels that are exclusive to Patreon members, but all the other channels, the different trading styles, you all can continue your chats, etc. at any time in our free Discord. So briefly talk about options, our strategies for generating additional income while we wait. Again, is selling covered calls against our positions, buying them back cheaper, selling cash secured puts against things that we wouldn't mind owning at a cheap enough price. You can see our overall strategy here in the notes. I've left that there so you can see what our strategy is based on. We'll very quickly look at our puts ROIC. And again, our all access and BIP Patreons have access to this 24/7. And again, if you want us to add something to this to automatically do the research, see if I can get this guy to refresh. The ones here in yellow are ones we have orders out on. So you can see I'm trying to sell Amazon at 80, Experian at 80, Google at 85, Moderna we've already sold, Generac at 85. It's bounced back up. I thought I was going to get it back at 5 cents. It didn't quite fill, even though the price hit. I've also got one on Moderna at 115, Micron at 50, and Tesla at 120. We're getting close to the rollover date for June, so the ones I will probably roll these over and start looking at the June expirations. You can see Amazon, we're looking at January of 24. And I do have an order out on that one that offered a better premium than anything near term. As we identify additional ones, I go through the tools, the option seller ROI tool every night, and see if there's any additional opportunities that meet our criteria. So I want to get to questions real quickly before we wrap up. So one thing Easy Mike asked about PXD last week in our live chat. So I did the research on PXD, put it in the research tab. Again, you can access this. Patreon members can access this as well. So we have others that we've done research on. It's in the add tab. So you can see the risk reward isn't really what I'd like, but it pays a 5.58% dividend. So you see the near-term risk reward's pretty good. 52 weeks, not great. So again, if you're looking for specifically for the dividend itself, it's not bad. Pioneer Natural, it's an oil company. So that was a recommendation from Easy Mike. And again, we have a bunch of others that I've done research on, and the ones that we added, I put white. The ones in pink, we didn't add because they just didn't meet our criteria. Okay, so the last couple minutes, let me Clifford Mathley. I haven't seen Clifford today. If you're here, Clifford, let me know. I can look at Hog and also do it offline. And maybe do a short due diligence on Hog for you if that's what you would like. I want to look at KBUE. Chris asked about KBUE. So again, a nice thing about our links section of our webpage, beachbumtrading.com, bum without the U. So we have all the tools, etc. So I can jump over to FinBiz very quickly, paste in KBUE. View. Okay, so it is a brand new IPO, consumer defensive. Was this a spinoff? Who's this a spinoff? Okay, so Skin Healthcare. This is a spinoff from somebody. and I don't remember offhand, Band-Aids. So is this Johnson & Johnson spinoff of their healthcare? So, there's very little data. So really IPOs, I mean, we don't generally pursue IPOs. I'd rather see, how do they perform? I'd rather see how they perform for a year or so um, before I pursue that, because then we have a nice price history. We see how they perform. So again, we generally don't pursue IPOs, and again, we have so little data here. I really can't form an opinion on KBUE, and again, you see some of their products, etc. Healthcare. I mean, it sounds relatively recession proof. Oh, subsidiary Johnson & Johnson, yeah. So it's a spinoff of Johnson & Johnson. So it looks like, consumer defensive, pretty recession proof, etc. But again, all these brands, are people going to trade down to more generic brands that are cheaper price? So that would be a risk given the recession, tightening, labor, people get laid off, are they going to trade down? So I'm not real hip on it from those viewpoints. Got a couple minutes. Let me look at Hog real quick. Again, Clifford Mantley asked about Hog yesterday, and that I looked at it briefly, and it looked kind of interesting. So we see the recent chart shows it's broken down through this trend line. It's trading below its moving averages. They do make money. Got good sales, $6 billion in sales. It's optionable. High debt, don't like that. Got a target price of $47.50. Not a lot of excess shares outstanding. That's good. If we zoom out a little bit, I thought this was interesting. We're going to see this support level around 30. It's pretty good support. It's right now it's on a negative trend. It really dropped off. There is some support around this, 30, probably 34-ish. Yeah, 34 level. So that might be a support. I believe Clifford said that, he scalp trades it. So on these swings off support, it does seem like, it has a tendency to bounce pretty good off these support levels. So it's not a bad strategy. Again, this 30 level looks like a really good support level. It looks like, it's bounced off that 30 level. Upside's not great, 51 or so, but again, short-term scalps, short-term swings, not bad. Again, ideally this 30 level looks like really strong support. That 34 level looks pretty good. Again, I'd probably get out. This 51 looks like it's pretty heavy resistance. And again, it's going to have resistance right now from its moving averages. So, it may continue down in the near term. So you just want to watch for that support. Although, that wick says, hey, it's got pretty good support there, and it's wick down there and bounced up pretty good. So again, that strategy, short-term scalp, short-term swing might be okay. Just, be careful. It could easily drop down to 30, and it could then drop, the pandemic low is in the, mid-teens. So, you've got pretty significant potential downside, particularly if they're hit with the recession. So I'd watch it, also listen to their earnings relative to a recession. So I'm going to wrap up so I can keep this under an hour. To answer your question, John, about yes, we're still long UROI. Hopefully we'll be able to ride that up further for a swing. We're also, as I mentioned, we're long DNN. So currently those are our plays for the sector rotation into uranium. So if you all have any further questions, please put them in the comments below, in our Discord, our Facebook group. We've got a Reddit community, etc. You can find links to all those. You can hit us up on our social media. Again, you can find links to all of our sites on the link section in our homepage, beachbumtrading.com. And again, if you have any other questions, anything else we can help you with, just let us know. Otherwise, we hope you all have a great trading week for May 8th through May 12th. Also, just a very quick note, next weekend we may not be able to do live streams. We're going to be traveling. So hopefully you all have subscribed, hit the notify bell with all notifications. I don't know what the schedule is going to look like next weekend. Again, we'll be traveling and may not be able to do these live streams at our normal time. So just so you're all aware. And again, if we can do it a different time, etc., we'll put that out, and you should get notified if you're subscribed and you have the bell set up. So we hope you do that. Otherwise, again, have a great trading week, great rest of your weekend, and we wish you good luck. Thank you for joining us. Bye.